If you thought Maruti's first EV would look something like this, you're in for a very pleasant surprise. You've seen it in concept form at Auto Expo 2023. You've seen it in closer to production form at the Bharat Mobility Show, but this is it. This is the final production version of Suzuki's first EV. Now, we've known it all along as the EVX, but it's just debuted as the Suzuki Vitara. Over this video, I'll tell you all that we know so far about the car that will lead Maruti's EV charge. Before we proceed, do ensure you're subscribed to the Autocar India channel and have hit that bell icon to be notified every time we have a new video up. First, a bit of context setting. The Suzuki Vitara will go up against the Tata Curvv EV, the MG ZS EV, the BYD Atto 3, as well as upcoming models like Hyundai's Creta EV and the Mahindra BE6e, which has coincidentally just been teased for the very first time ahead of its official unveiling on November 26. In size, the Vitara fits right in. It measures 42.75 millimeters in length. It's 1.8 meters wide and 1.6 meters in height. However, it's the wheelbase that will be the figure of greater interest, because it's that figure that actually divides the contenders in the segment into ICE or combustion engine based models and born electric models.
The born electric Vitara's 2700mm wheelbase will be longer than the Curvv EVs, ZS EVs and upcoming Creta EV, all of which are ICE-derived electric models. Even so, the Vitara's wheelbase will be down on the BYD Atto 3 and Mahindra BE6es, the other born electric models in the same price range.
In terms of design and styling, what comes as a pleasant surprise is the fact that the Vitara looks very similar to the concepts that preceded it. Now, it's a surprise because Suzuki, as you may know, is a company that's known for otherwise very conservative designs.
Some of the sharper angles and cuts have been toned down, but the muscular bodywork has been retained. A big part of this is the generous use of dark cladding around the base of the vehicle that helps give it the requisite rugged look. Worth noting is that unlike some battery electric vehicles, the Vitara's conventional two-box design doesn't appear to have been defined by aerodynamics and could work just as well on an ICE product. Details that return from the concepts include the tri-LED daytime running lights at the front and rear, charging ports on the front flanks, and the prominent bulge over the rear wheel arch. Vitara wheel sizes go up to a chunky 225x50 R19 on the AWD version, with lesser models getting 18-inch rims. Interestingly, the rear door handle has moved up to the C-pillar, much like on the older Swift.
The Vitara will have a ground clearance of 180mm, which should be sufficient for most Indian road conditions. However, the Vitara will also be the heaviest Maruti yet, with weight ranging from 1700 kilos at the lower end on the base versions to 1900 kilos for the top spec all-wheel drive versions. Where the Vitara takes a big step up for both Suzuki and Maruti is on the inside. The interior is a huge upgrade from all existing models. Now, the interior is new age. It comprises dual screens, one for the touchscreen system and one for the instrumentation. The dashboard is horizontally stacked, and you also get a floating center console that's finished in gloss materials.
Interesting details include the twin-spoke flat-bottom steering wheel, the rectangular AC vents with their brushed silver surrounds, the rotary drive selector, and the part fabric, part leatherette upholstery. It's also good to see big door pockets and physical AC controls. Maruti Vitara features that can be spotted include an electronic parking brake with auto hold, drive modes including trail for AWD versions, hill descent control, single zone auto climate control, a wireless phone charger, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, side and curtain airbags, heated mirrors, and some ADAS features like adaptive cruise control and lane keep assist. Let's hope Maruti brings most of these to India.
There also appears to be a new user interface or operating system for the dual screen setup.
There's little we can say about the rear seat at this time other than it gets a split folding arrangement, adjustable headrest, and 3-point seat belts for all passengers. Isofix child seat mounts are also visible.
The Vitara's long wheelbase and high roof suggest good legroom at the back as well as headroom, but what remains to be seen is how Suzuki's engineers have packaged the high ground clearance as well as the battery pack under the floor. Now, usually in EVs, the rear seating position is compromised because of this, but it's something we'll just have to wait and see on the Vitara. The e-Vitara doesn't share any of its underpinnings with any existing Suzuki model. It's built on an all-new skateboard platform that Suzuki calls e-Hardtech. Suzuki also says that this platform brings the advanced feel of a battery electric vehicle with the rugged nature of an SUV. Now, interestingly, the skateboard platform was built in collaboration with Toyota, and Toyota will have its own version of this SUV that will debut in 2025 or so. The e-Vitara will be available with two battery options, a 49 kWh battery pack as well as a 61 kWh battery pack. The larger of the two will be available with all-wheel drive as well, which Suzuki has dubbed All Grip E. The batteries will use LFP blade cells sourced from Chinese battery giant BYD. Now, unlike other manufacturers that import the cells and package them locally, Maruti will import the entire cell assembly altogether. And this will have a bearing on price, which I'll get to in a bit. While there's been no announcements regarding range at this reveal, Suzuki in the past had mentioned a 500 km plus range figure for the larger of its two battery packs on global test cycles.
As for power, the 49 kWh battery with its single motor on the front axle produces 144 horsepower, while the larger 61 kWh battery in single motor guise ups that figure to 174 horsepower. Both these versions produce 189 Newton meters of torque, which is on the lower side for this size of car. For reference, a Curvv EV has 215 Newton meters. But moving up to the All Grip AWD version adds a 65 horsepower motor on the rear axle for a total output of 184 horsepower and 300 Newton meters, which is far more substantial.
The e-Vitara will be a global model for Suzuki and will be produced at the brand's Gujarat plant. Now, 50% of the production is earmarked for Japan and Europe, while the rest will be for India. However, the model will debut in India in March 2025 and will be launched subsequently. By the time Maruti launches the e-Vitara in India, Hyundai will be out with its Creta EV and Mahindra's BE6e will also be on sale. Other models also already on offer include the Tata Curvv EV, BYD Atto 3 and MG ZS EV. Prices for the e-Vitara are likely to start around 20 lakh rupees ex-showroom for the base versions. Models with a 61 kWh battery pack will likely cost upwards of 25 lakh rupees, and you can expect the fully loaded all-wheel drive equipped versions of the e-Vitara to come closer to the 30 lakh rupee mark. Marutis have a reputation for efficiency, and it'll be interesting to see what Suzuki and its engineering team have managed to eke out from the e-Vitara's battery pack. Anything above 500 kilometers on the Indian MIDC cycle should be a very good sign. The e-Vitara is the first of a number of EVs set to spawn off the Hardtech e-platform, and in due time there'll also be a Toyota Innova-sized MPV, and Toyota will have its version of that model as well. With India's largest car maker entering the EV race, it's game on.